Imagine looking directly into the eyes of history itself. For centuries, we've known legendary figures only through paintings, sculptures, and written descriptions. We've accepted those artistic interpretations as truth, assuming that portraits captured the essence of greatness. But what if I told you that some of history's most iconic figures, people who shaped revolutions, penned timeless works of literature, or led armies into battle, were actually photographed? And not just any photographs, but images that reveal their humanity, vulnerability, and charisma in ways no painting ever could. In this journey, we'll uncover 16 astonishing historical figures who lived long enough to have their faces frozen in time by early photography. These photographs don't just preserve appearances, they reveal truths about their personalities, struggles, and achievements, bridging centuries to bring the past into the present. That if this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 1. Edgar Allan Poe, the tormented genius. When you think of Edgar Allan Poe, you likely picture the brooding poet from his portraits, pale, intense, almost ghostly. But in 1848, just a year before his mysterious death at age 40, Poe sat for a daguerreotype that captures something far more revealing. The photograph immortalizes the man behind the myth. His widow's peak mustache and dark eyes are striking, but what's truly remarkable is the psychological depth in his gaze. This isn't a romanticized vision of a tormented artist, it's a direct window into his struggles. Alcoholism, grief over his wife's death, and the financial hardships that haunted his career. Photography historian Tyler Anbinder observed, the daguerreotype confirms what we know of Poe's state of mind. This is the unfiltered reality of a genius in decline. Looking into his eyes, we see the man who created masterpieces like The Raven and The Telltale Heart, not as imagined by artists, but as he truly was in his final days. 2. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, the revolutionary they tried to forget. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, born in 1815, was a pioneer of women's rights whose influence often eclipsed even her more famous collaborator, Susan B. Anthony. While history sometimes softened her image, early photographs reveal a woman of unparalleled confidence and intellect. Images from around 1850 show Stanton looking directly at the camera, defying the timid ideals of 19th century womanhood. Later portraits in her 80s, with her trademark white hair, display the physical manifestation of decades of activism. Stanton challenged norms on voting rights, divorce reform, reproductive rights, and even religion, positions too radical for her time. These photographs don't just show her appearance. They document the unyielding spirit of a revolutionary thinker decades ahead of her era. 3. Samuel Morse, painter, inventor, and photographic pioneer. Most remember Samuel Morse as the inventor of the telegraph, but before that, he was a celebrated painter. Fewer realize that Morse played a pivotal role in introducing photography to America. In the 1840s, photographs captured Morse in his prime, distinguished with intense eyes, reflecting the mind that transformed global communication. The convergence of his artistic beginnings, inventive genius, and advocacy for photography illustrates a remarkable intersection of human creativity and technology. In Morse, we see a man standing at the crossroads of art and science, whose innovations forever changed how we communicate and preserve moments in time. 4. Victor Hugo, the literary giant's haunting gaze. Victor Hugo, author of Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, was photographed extensively in his later years, particularly during his exile from France. These images reveal a man whose presence matches the power of his literary creations. From his middle-aged self to the mythic white-bearded sage of old age, Hugo's photographs capture his transformation. One striking image, taken on his deathbed in 1885, reminds us that even towering creative geniuses are mortal. Through these photographs, Hugo's face conveys the humanity behind the legend, a stark contrast to the idealized depictions common before photography. 5. General William Tecumseh Sherman, the eyes of a strategist. Sherman, born in 1820, is remembered for his march to the sea and the strategy of total war. While paintings often glorify military leaders, his photographs reveal the psychological toll of warfare. Captured by Matthew Brady's studio, Sherman's penetrating gaze and deeply lined face suggest a man who had witnessed immense suffering. As he once said, "War is hell," and in these images, that hell is etched in every expression. These photographs convey not just a military icon, but a deeply human strategist wrestling with the consequences of his actions. 6. Clara Barton, the Angel of the Battlefield. Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross, revolutionized battlefield medicine during the Civil War. Photography reveals her determined gaze and practical demeanor, far from the romanticized Angel of Mercy. Early photographs from the war show Barton as a resolute humanitarian navigating a male-dominated world to aid wounded soldiers. Later portraits reflect decades of service, capturing the physical embodiment of her lifelong dedication. These images remind us that true heroism is not in the idealized, but in the real, tireless effort of someone shaping history. 7. Geronimo, the warrior's dignity. Geronimo, the famed Apache leader, was often misrepresented as a savage in contemporary illustrations. Yet photographs from his later years reveal a man of remarkable dignity and presence. Following his surrender in 1886, Geronimo became a symbol of a vanishing world. Photographs from events like the 1904 World's Fair show him in both traditional Apache attire and Western clothing, reflecting the complex reality of cultural displacement. Through the camera's lens, we see a man who resisted conquest, preserved his culture, and faced captivity with indomitable spirit. 8. Dolly Madison, America's First Lady. Born in 1768, Dolly Madison was a social and political force behind her husband, President James Madison. Remarkably, she lived long enough to be photographed in 1848 at age 80, providing a direct visual link to the earliest days of the American Republic. Her daguerreotype shows a dignified elderly woman, reminding us she personally knew George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Unlike youthful portraits, this image humanizes a legend, capturing her role as a bridge between revolutionary America and the era of photography. 9. Marquis de Lafayette, hero of two worlds. Born in 1757, Lafayette fought in the American Revolution and played a critical role in the French Revolution. A photograph taken in 1841, when he was in his 80s, creates an almost unbelievable bridge to revolutionary history. Lafayette personally knew George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson. His frail, yet commanding presence captured by the camera connects viewers directly to the birth of modern democracy, a historical figure whose life spanned both European and American revolutions. 10. Duchess of Bourbon, survivor of the Terror. The Duchess of Bourbon, born in 1750, witnessed the French Revolution, imprisonment during the Terror, and the monarchy's restoration. Photographs from the early 1840s show her in her 90s, bearing the physical toll of a life lived through upheaval. Through her images, we see the vulnerability and resilience of aristocracy, bridging the opulence of Versailles with the emerging modern world. The camera captures what paintings could never: the human passage of time, survival, and adaptation. 11. Conrad Heyer, the revolutionary who crossed the Delaware. Conrad Heyer, born in 1749, is the earliest known American photographed. Captured at age 103 in 1852, his daguerreotype connects us directly to the American Revolution. Heyer reportedly crossed the Delaware River with George Washington. In his photograph, we don't see an idealized soldier, we see a humble centenarian who lived through the birth of a nation, an extraordinary bridge between colonial America and the dawn of photography. 12. John Tyler, the Forgotten President. John Tyler, born in 1790 and the 10th President of the United States, served as a direct link to early American history. Photographs from the 1840s show a dignified statesman. Tyler's unique lifespan, Born during George Washington's presidency and dying in 1862, compresses the timeline of American history. His images connect the founding generation to the present, giving us a face to the political evolution of the United States. 13. Lorenzo da Ponte, Mozart's librettist in America. Born in 1749, da Ponte wrote librettos for Mozart's greatest operas before moving to America. Photographs from the 1840s show an elderly man whose life spanned classical European music to early American cultural development. Through his image, we witness the intersection of art, exile, and cultural transplantation, a tangible connection to Mozart, Casanova, and 18th-century Vienna. 14. Joseph Nicephore Niepce, the inventor who captured time. Niepce, born in 1765, created the first permanent photograph. Later photographs capture Niepce himself using the daguerreotype process his partner helped refine. These images are remarkable for their metahistorical significance. The inventor of photography, preserved by the technology he pioneered. Niepce's photograph is a testament to the evolution of capturing time itself. 15. Joseph Brant III, the Mohawk leader's descendant. Though Joseph Brant died in 1807, was never photographed, his descendant Joseph Brant III was captured in the 1840s. These images reveal how Native American identity and culture adapted following European colonization. Brant III's photographs provide a visual record of continuity and change, linking the Revolutionary-era Mohawk leader to subsequent generations navigating a transformed world. 16. The transformative power of photography. These 16 figures share more than historical fame. They exemplify the revolutionary impact of photography. Before cameras, art mediated our understanding of people. Portraits could idealize, flatter, or distort. Photography introduced unfiltered, mechanical truth, documenting blemishes, wrinkles, and expressions that reveal personality and humanity. Figures like Conrad Heyer or the Duchess of Bourbon Bridge centuries, turning history from abstraction into reality. Their faces, captured nearly 3 centuries ago, collapse time, making the distant past tangible, relatable, and profoundly human. Photography didn't just preserve appearances, it transformed our connection to history. These images remind us that history isn't merely dates and events, it's the story of real people struggling, creating, and shaping the world. Through their eyes, we glimpse the very fabric of human experience stretched across generations and immortalized by the revolutionary lens of photography.